Happy New Year! You didn't think just because it's New Year's Day that I'll miss out and not give you guys a devlog update, did you? Of course I will. This is the past month's updates. We're a little bit smaller than some other ones just because, well, it has been the holidays and I've been away for a little bit. But there's some good updates in this past month. So let me show you. Starting with this, we have a brand new starting area here. So no more of our main issue of having the first area here kind of look out of place. Nope, we're good. This is always going to be our new starting location. And of course, there's a little pack to get you started. And the main thing, of course, is because of how things are designed. As you can see, we have a lot of verticality still. Oh, I love this verticality. You can see it all there down below. I made some adjustments to how things are cut out. It's a little more cut out, so you actually see through a little bit more. You still see a little bit of a ghosting effect, but it's now much easier to actually see through it as you kind of play. So I made some adjustments to the starting little area here, as well as the shop and some other maps. There's a few more layouts and things of that nature to work with. The other thing I have done is, aside from this, as I go ahead and take care of these enemies here, is if I hit tab, you will see this new view. So we have here options for what you're seeing. Right now you're seeing the collected cards. So I have currently, starting with a melee weapon, so I have this card automatically activated. I can go through these by pressing Q or E, and I can see there's my cards in my deck. So this is what's left to be picked up potentially. If I go to discarded cards, these are the cards that when I have a card select choice, this is where the discarded ones will go. And afterwards, they'll go to burn cards, and that's the ones that can no longer appear. Basically, those are the ones that go into the shop, end up being burned cards, because once they're in the shop, that's it. They will never appear again, whether it's in a shop later on or anywhere else. You had your chance. If you didn't buy them, that's it. Now I finally have enough to get my first card unlock. I can press this button here and we get the card unlock screen, and you might notice something a little different about these cards. We have a new aesthetic to the cards. I've redesigned them, taking a little bit of inspiration from actual card games like Magic the Gathering. So now here you can see it's a lot cleaner. You can see the actual tier it is in the bottom right corner. The color also will represent what tier it is. We have the description. This little swirl for now just shows that this is affecting for everything. And now we can just go ahead and select it. And because you have to click something to get into this menu, I've removed the click and hold functionality. I know I've gotten feedback in the past that people didn't like it. I also didn't really like it. I didn't have a good solution to it, but now that it's a button to get even into this menu, no more click and hold. You just figure out what you want, then you left click, and that's it. You have it. Now, if I press tab, you can see there's my speed boost. I gave myself some life steal for this demonstration. And if I go to the cards in deck, you can see I have less cards in my deck because I now have 2 cards in here. The ones I did not choose are now in the discarded card section. So anytime I can go ahead and take a look at this. Oh, by the way, and all of this is controller accessible, everything. So as you can see here, I can just go swap between the cards with the controller. You can see up top, it says left and right bracket there. I can just go between all of the sections, all with a controller, and just go and look through the cards. But this is not the main thing. The main thing isn't just here. The main new thing is actually in the hub itself, because it is the deck builder. Check this out. Brand new layout, of course, brand new card designs you can see, and a large preview on the right there. So whenever you have anything here that you're looking at, you can go ahead and see the large preview on the right. And right now I'm in the collection area, so I can just go through all my collections. I can press down on the D-pad and go into the deck area. Up goes to the collection. Right goes to the search. I can sort and search by specific things. Now, the keywords here are just unstackable weapon, and you can see these no longer have the keywords. I'm planning to add icons instead of full-on text to just show what those are. We'll still have the functionality of showing the descriptions on top of it, but it'll be a lot cleaner. So you can see this is, I think, a lot nicer, and I'm controlling this all with a controller. You could still change the sorting. You can go back and forth. And by the way, all of the sorting and all of these controls can be customized. For example, I can press X here and put a card to and from the deck just from here. Or if I'm in the deck area, I just press X and go remove them, go back to the collection, re-add them, or put them back. So it's very easy and quick to customize. And the big preview on the right is there, so if there's a lot of small text, you will always see the big picture. I didn't want to add a small preview on the right or left of it. I felt like it would just get in the way. With a mouse and keyboard, I think that would be fine, but I want a lot of controller support. And when you're dealing with a controller, I didn't like blocking blocking off some of the cards. So this is the solution we found. And of course, you can do all the normal things with the mouse and keyboard. Control clicking still puts to and from the deck. If you were to have the starting cards unlocked, you would be using an alt click, and all of that, if I go ahead and get out of here, is adjustable under options. Controls, if I scroll down here, you'll see under combat, we have a new section called UI. That's right. This is all rebindable and it has keyboard shortcuts. So for example, I can select the collection area, the deck area, search area, the starting cards area. I can just navigate to each one of those. It's not really needed for keyboard, but you can do it if you wanted to. You could control with the keyboard. Here's the sorting and tab to the previous or next, changing the sort order, toggle keyword descriptions, and I can go ahead and rebind all of this. This is fully rebindable. So you can see there's the card 2 from deck is A. If I want to, I can bind it with whatever else. So I think it is a lot cleaner. The reason why the cards now look more like this, and I'm quite happy with this kind of style of a design, is twofold. One, it's more of what people are used to. And two, if I press backspace and get into this view, you can see what it looks like when I have multiple tiers, right? The tier is different colors. You see 1, 2, 3. The colors are subject to change, but if I scroll down, you can see here is the multi-line ones. So in these versions, we have the ones that happen on everything, the ones that go on melee only, and the one goes on ranged only abilities. As you can see, it is not quite correct. I haven't set it up fully yet. You see here, it says mutual card descriptions are going to be written here. So for example, on this multi-hit, it says damage is calculated 2 extra times, 30% less damage. I have it written down here because I wanted to test how much text I can put in. This one is very much my test card, but the 30% less damage would actually go onto this row up here, because then whether you're using a melee ability or a ranged or projectile ability, you're still getting 30% less damage. That is an overall, which is why this icon here is the same one you get here. And you know that this icon will be just for melee abilities, and this will affect ranged abilities. So in the end, this is going to say 30% less damage. For melee, it's going to say then damage is calculated 2 extra times, and the projectile section is just going to say gain 2 extra projectiles. And you should immediately know what it is, how it's set up, and everything will work. So even for the things that have a lot more text, I think here work a lot nicer. One thing you might notice also is the aspect ratio of these cards has changed. They're now the more standard 1.4 by 1 ratio, which is more like typical actual cards like Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, etc. Again, because I want to actually print these out at some point, whether it's for a collector's edition or most likely if I do a Kickstarter, I'd probably want that to be one of the reward tiers. I'll want to get physical cards, and by having them be more standard sized, that means any sleeve that you already have for any kind of cards for the Magic the Gathering, Pokemon, etc. will work for these, and that's great. Yeah, that's just a little extra thing because I think having a physical thing you can just grab and hold from a game is nice, especially when it has a card based thing. I personally kind of like that idea. Now the boss card shop here is the same as before. I have not adjusted the size of these cards in here. As you can see, they don't quite fit as nicely as they did before. And the text at the top right, you can see that 0 is extremely tiny and dark. So I'm adjusting the fonts and everything, and this has gone into the mix. So lots of UI changes probably coming in the next month as well. I actually want to separate the deck builder part and put it as a location. I'm going to have the deck builder be managed over here in this location. So it'll be a place you go to modify your deck instead of just pressing select on the controller. And the reason I want it here is because I want the main menu, which right now is the deck builder, to be information about your weapon abilities and your base stats. You shouldn't need to modify your deck constantly anyway, so I feel like just putting it in a location is fine. And then I can take those weapon ability descriptions and also put them inside of the dungeon, so whenever you have a weapon equipped, you can see your current information about your abilities, their descriptions, their damage percentage, or any special things they might be doing, whether maybe they're adding some stun or something else. All that information will be available to you. You'll of course be able to try out the abilities. It's only a cooldown of time and there's no time limit on anything, but that should clear things up a little bit in the future. The final big thing that I think I finally fixed is the crashing. I think it's fixed because I think I found the problem with it, and that was Paper ZD, the 2D sprite engine that I was using. Now, it's certainly not using it that was the problem. It's because I'm unloading enemies and reloading them at certain distances. And what would happen is I would try to execute effectively an animation montage on the characters, and then on the same frame game, when it tries to execute it, I remove them. They get unloaded. And it really didn't like this. So what I've done is I've told it, hey, before you unload, stop anything from actually executing, and then go ahead and unload them. I believe it has fixed the issue. Fingers crossed. Fatal errors are not fun. I have big plans for this game in this upcoming year. Potentially going to be applying for the Epic Mega Grant. We'll see if we get it to help progress this game even further. But in the meantime, I want to give a big thank you to my Patreon supporters. You guys are awesome, and you help so much with helping to fund this game, basically. In fact, I'll be using some of the money that you guys have supported me with on Patreon to hire a character artist to make the main character of the game. Look out for that sometime, maybe early I guess this year. I almost said next year. It's next year as I'm recording this, but it's this year as the video's out. So sometime in the next, hopefully, first half of the year. Again, thank you guys so much for the Patreon supporters. And if you'd like, you can join the community. The link to everything is down in the description below, as always. And again, I hope you all have a happy new year. And if you're looking for something else to watch, check out this video right over here to see more updates that happened for the game.